I think I have to come on to the show one day and be like, Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the league. I care about wins. I care about not turning the ball over. I care about who's holding the trophy at the end of the year. And then I have to have a big argument, and you guys would be like, he's nowhere. Fifth is as high as I'll go. And then I will have to concede fifth. And then that's it.
But
10th.
You would do that if they won the Super Bowl. And then you'd have an argument.
He did win the Super Bowl.
No, he's saying if they went back to back.
You're not doing that at any point in the regular. Realistically, he's not going to put up the type of numbers.
I know,
for
but
you
here's
to
what's
come in here
frustrating.
week
Bro, he
10
went
and
to
say
the Super Bowl and played great. And everyone's like, let me see it. Then he hit the supernatural funk that still got him to the playoffs. And then he won the Super Bowl and won Super Bowl MVP. Like, one more year. It's a constant moving of the ball. If he goes back-to-back 3 Super Bowls in 4 years.
I told y'all who he is.
What?
Who?
Y'all, he can be Terry Bradshaw.
Well, that's pretty good.
That'd be great.
No, I know, but I'm saying, clutch, great moments in the Super Bowl, not the greatest regular seasons and not the greatest regular season numbers, and not known as the greatest quarterback.
Hold on. Can I say? Hold on.
Bradshaw had 1 MVP.
Can I just say 2 things real quick? I think that his momentum towards being considered an excellent quarterback, an excellent quarterback, was incredibly stymied by what we now just feel like, supernatural funk. Like, that was a 2-month-long team-wide meltdown that he was a part of. And so whatever, weird, winner pixie dust stuff we wanted to do goes out the window when the team was 10-1 and then just crumbles.
No, he was viewed as that
right,
at that point,
then plays one of the most team-wide pathetic playoff games imaginable. Right, and then last year.
But he was over. He did the.
No, I understand. The last year, understandably, the story of the Eagles really until the Super Bowl was Saquon Barkley.
Right.
And so it wasn't, it was, and the only little controversy they had, like he said, wasn't his fault. A.J. Brown called saying we don't pass the ball well enough. But I do think you're right that no matter what happens this coming year, he deserves to be considered right now by a lot of people the 5th best quarterback. I think what Brew was saying is you wouldn't even think that right now he's the best quarterback. Your goal is to have him in the top 5,
I think
and you think you need to call him the best to move the Overton window argument.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand.
But a lot of the arguments that you make for Mahomes can be borrowed and used to make the argument for Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Look, not gaudy numbers, but the guy is consistently winning and is a champion.
Hold on.
He had the gaudy numbers at one point.
And the Mahomes.
Well, 3 years
He
ago.
was he had a better season. The year that Jalen almost won MVP, Patrick Mahomes did win MVP.
Of course, 3 years ago.
That's right. But the problem, and this is where, and I know we have to go. All of these guys fail the Mahomes test of what's your worst year look like?
I don't care about that. I don't care about who I care about what
you do for Lamar and Josh and Joe. Yes, you do.
I care about what you
do.
I honestly don't. I care that Jalen Hurts and Mahomes take the field, and Jalen Hurts left the winner most recently. That's I care more about that than his worst year. No. They had a supernatural funk and still went to the playoffs.
But think about why aren't you saying Hurts is the best quarterback in the league?
Because I think he's top 5. I just want him to be top 5.
Right.
The 5th.
But you know what?
Y'all gonna get mad.
He is the best
After
quarterback.
the top 4, it's fluid.
All right. Oh man, we are gonna get after it again here. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this. If you think you've seen me do this video before, you haven't, because I got so much more stuff and I got comments from subscribers and viewers that we are just going to absolutely destroy. This is gonna be wild. This is gonna be absolutely wild, and I'm so excited to get after it because there's just so much more to unpack, and I found different ways to do it and different arguments that keep arising with this nonsense, and it's just, oh my god, I can't wait. Just wait. Let's start here with the whole Patrick Mahomes and all the great numbers, and that I guess Jalen Hurts has never had said great numbers. That's so interesting to me. Patrick Mahomes, when he had his big numbers, his first real year, 5,097 yards. You know what's so interesting about that year? 51% of those yards came from yards after catch. 51%. What about 22? We had over 5,250. That's also really interesting. 54% came from yards after catch. So what does that mean for Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts in 22 had 47% yards after catch. And in 23, 43%. So what does this all mean? It means that if Jalen Hurts got even just remotely similar ranges of Patrick Mahomes, not to mention Patrick Mahomes in 2023, right? When the year that they said he carried a team, he had 4,183 yards. He had yards, 61% came from yards after catch. 61%. So if Jalen Hurts just got even slightly within that range, he would literally be throwing for 4,500 plus yards. It's just basic math. It's literally just basic elementary math. So those would be those outrageous numbers. In 2023, it would have been, I did the math before, it would have been good enough to be first or second. First or second in 2023. And it was a little bit harder to calculate because he didn't finish the game in the final game because he dislocated his finger. And A.J. Brown wasn't even playing. So he would have led the league or obviously been very high up there. So that's weird. That's weird. I mean, in 2023, Patrick Mahomes had 2,552 yards. And guess what? He threw the shortest passes. He had the shortest average depth of target for the only full-time starting quarterback. And then where's Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts had 1,697. Patrick Mahomes had nearly 1,000 more. And there's endless examples of it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes nearly has over 1,000 yards after catch more than Jalen Hurts year after year after year. Well, it's because Patrick Mahomes does it. It's all about Patrick Mahomes. Is it? Because I went back and did the math. Alex Smith, you know that quarterback that Chiefs fans say is really bad? 53% yards after catch, 2,134 with Andy Reid. Weird how Alex Smith was also consistently at the top of the NFL with Andy Reid in yards after catch. And that 51% or 53% was in 2017, the year before Patrick Mahomes took over. So that's crazy. That's, and actually 2018, Patrick Mahomes had 51%. So Alex Smith actually had 53%. So if you want to put all the credit of the yards after catch on the quarterback, then Alex Smith, I guess, is a better passer than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I don't know. That's what Mahomes fans, this is what happens when you keep twisting yourself into knots. Like, it's pretty weird. Now, here are some comments. People act like Jalen Hurts played well this year. Maybe because he did. The year they win a Super Bowl, Jalen has the least amount of pass attempts in his career. It's almost like the less he throws the ball, the more success the team has. That's top 5 quarterback stuff. And did they win the Super Bowl in 22? And are we going to pretend like they had a tough schedule in 22? How have the numbers been since 22? Still top 10 in passing yards? No. How about passing touchdowns? No. How does turnovers look in 23? The Eagles literally had to limit Jalen's throws to limit his mistakes in 2024. Another weird question. Another weird comment. Well, weird. Hurts from the pocket for the last 3 regular seasons in 22, 23, 24. 72.6% completion percentage, 71.2 completion percentage, 74% completion percentage, 20-4 touchdown to interception ratio, 16-14, 14-4, passer rating 111, 91.9, 109.7. Since 22, he has 50 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. Obviously, 23 was not a perfect year. I love how Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback who's not allowed to have a bad year. He's the only quarterback who can't just be perfect and pristine. That's weird. That's so interesting to me. So interesting to me. What's really funny is the year they win a Super Bowl, Jalen has the least amount of pass attempts in his career. The year Patrick Mahomes had the most pass attempts, he didn't win the Super Bowl. The year that they cut his first year, he threw 580 attempts, and then the year that he had the lowest pass attempts of his entire career, that's when they won the Super Bowl. Oh, that's weird. And then the pass attempts went back up another 100, and then they didn't win this. They didn't win the Super Bowl. Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. And it's also kind of funny because when he threw his most pass attempts, he had one of his lowest passer ratings, and it would have been his lowest passer rating if he didn't fall off a cliff these last couple of years. He had it under 100, and his completion percentage was 66%. So it's just, interesting. But then you're like, well, 22. He threw a lot. He had 648 attempts, 5,250 yards. And it's like, yeah. What did I say? 54% came from Yak. Patrick Mahomes had 2,853 yards from after catch. That is insanity. Absolute, utter insanity. And again, in a year that Jalen Hurts had 1,773, so 1,100 more yards. It's pretty bonkers. It's pretty bonkers. Here's another interesting comment. I like Jalen Hurts, but almost half the QBs in the league could do what he does. Oh, that's weird. They could be an elite dual threat quarterback. Oh, okay. He barely passes for 150 yards in the playoffs, but because his team performs well, Eagles fans act like he's the main reason for their success. He's an amazing game manager, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Eagles fans are mad at Hurts being disrespected, but it's really their head coach that's being disrespected because no one is giving him credit for the success they've been having. Again, that actually is really hilarious because, again, people can't pick and choose when they want to say that Sirianni's a bad coach or a great coach, or he keeps having, not to mention Jalen Hurts just keeps having new coordinators year after year after year. And I'm going to go over the 150 yards in a second, but there's another follow-up comment to read. Mahomes has also had way more impressive playoff performances. Jalen Hurts has one great playoff game. Only one. That's weird. And that was the Super Bowl they lost. Okay. He played good in the past Super Bowl as well as the NFC Championship game, but I think we can all agree that his performance in the first Super Bowl was the best performance in the playoffs. Yes, Mahomes has won playoff games when he threw for less than 200 yards, but go look at the games against the Patriots in 2018, the Texans and the Titans and the blah, 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 blah. And the Eagles, and against the Eagles in the first Super Bowl, trust me, as a Ravens fan, I wish Mahomes was as mediocre as you think he is, which I've never said he was mediocre, so I don't even know what that comment means. The dude is amazing, and he's compared to Brady and Montana for a reason. No shade to Hurts, but homie won an NFC Championship in which the opposing first and second string quarterbacks both got hurt. You know what's really, really funny about this? This whole idea that Jalen Hurts can just play poorly and, he doesn't have to do much, and everyone, and the only reason why he's winning is because of the team. That's weird. It's funny because Lamar Jackson had 16 completions for 175 yards, won the playoff game. Josh Allen, 127 yards in the divisional round of 2024, won the playoff game. Patrick Mahomes, 177 yards, 16 completions, won playoff game. I don't see anyone having panic attacks about that. And not just in 2024. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has a bunch of those games. And the original comment talking about, well, what about the games against the Bills and against the Patriots and this or that? And you're not even using games that he 100% won in. What about Jalen Hurts' great games then? Like, what are we saying? What about the NFC Championship game? What about the 2 Super Bowls that we're now trying to pretend that one of them was just okay? That it wasn't amazing? That's news to me. I've read this many times. Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback in NFL history to do all of the following in any single game. Threw for 200 plus yards, rush for 70 plus yards, throw multiple touchdown passes, rush for a touchdown, complete 75% of his passes, average 10 plus yards per attempt, and win the game. And he did it in the Super Bowl, and we're trying to act like that wasn't spectacular, that wasn't amazing, and had the highest recorded EPA. in Super Bowl history. And broke the record for rushing yards in a Super Bowl, breaking his own record from the year before. I mean, it's just crazy to me. And they say that he can't play great when he passes a lot. Like, this is a comment that I find hilarious. I'm not defending Mahomes playing poorly. I'm saying that Mahomes' good to great playoff games far exceed Hurts's. Yes, Patrick Mahomes has been in the league longer than Jalen Hurts. Like, what? And no one's arguing right now that Hurts is better than Mahomes. They're arguing for respect, which is funny because he's trying to say, look, I'm not defending. I'm just saying that Mahomes is better than Hurts, which is funny because later on, just wait to see what else he says. And he says, are you telling me that half other quarterbacks in the league wouldn't have won against the 49ers in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago when Purdy got hurt and CMC was playing quarterback? I mean, what a ridiculous straw man that we just got thrown into the fire here. And it's just going to go up in flames. So we're going to downplay everything that Jalen Hurts did in 22 throughout the entire season. We're just going to completely downplay that. Like, really? And we're going to pretend like every other playoff team that other teams have played have always just been absolute just shootouts, unbelievable games. Like really? Like Patrick Mahomes going up against Lamar Jackson and his defense holding Lamar to 10 points. 10 points? Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl throwing under 200 yards. Like, and it's so funny that where we have this magical cutoff for what you need to do in order for it to be considered a great game for a quarterback, even from a passing perspective. And we're going to unpack that more as well. But yes, it was a pretty decent situation to have, the quarterbacks get injured. You can't deny that. But then he followed it up with one of the greatest Super Bowl performances of all time. A record-breaking Super Bowl performance. In a game where his defense gave up 38 points. He was 27 for 38, 304 yards, 1 touchdown, a 103 rating. He was the leading rusher with 15 carries for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns. And no, they weren't all tush pushes. Patrick Mahomes threw for 182 yards. 182 yards. I mean, it's comically, hilariously absurd how much we want to just cook the books here and how much we just want to move things around here. And that's what it continues to get funny. You're not going to answer my question directly, laugh out loud. I simply asked, what do his numbers look like in playoffs games outside of the Super Bowl? Hurts is allowed to play at a below average level, but the Eagles' defense and special teams show up big time. Now we want to just remove Super Bowl performances. We want to remove, when we're having this conversation, we're like, wow, let's talk about when he's not having some of the greatest games in NFL history and doing it at the highest level in the biggest moments in the literal Super Bowl. Let's not count that. I mean, it's hilarious at this point. But you know what? I played the game. Let's look at his stats without Super Bowls for some bizarro reason. I compared them to none other than Lamar Jackson. This is without Super Bowls. 7 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 7 touchdowns to interception ratio, a 94 passer rating, and a 65.7 completion percentage. Better than Lamar Jackson. Than none other than Lamar Jackson. And he's a Baltimore Ravens fan. That's why I used Lamar. But it's funny because he kept talking and then he brought up this. All I'm saying is that all I'm simply saying is a lot of other quarterbacks can put up the exact same numbers Hurts has in most of his playoff games, and they would not be fortunate enough to win. He is allowed to play average and get carried. End of the day, the Eagles are winning, and that's all that matters. And I and a lot of other people just don't think he's that good. Both Jaden and Dak are better. Dak Prescott. First off, these numbers right here, a bunch of those games don't even have A.J. Brown. Just Devontae. It's his first year that he was in the NFL. First year that he was a starter. When he went up against, the reigning Super Bowl champions, kind of matters. The one year that he went up against the Bucks. on the road. He dislocated his finger. His knee was messed up. He had a fired defensive coordinator, a fired offensive coordinator. Kelsey is retiring. Cox is retiring. AJ Brown's not playing because he hurt his knee. So hardly just like, real basic, perfect stats. And yet his numbers are still higher than that of none other than Dak Prescott in his entire career. Dak Prescott has a 91.8 passer rating. Jalen Hurts is 94. Completion percentage 65.7. Dak Prescott has 64.5. And again, this also completely downplays what... Oh, and before this, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And this completely downplays also what Jalen Hurts obviously brings from a dual threat perspective. Like, I just looked at just passing, not even rushing as well. Comically, hilariously, absurd. I mean, you talk about being carried. Patrick Mahomes won his first Super Bowl with a 61.9 completion percentage. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 78.1 rating. I mean, what? And they could say, oh yeah, but he's won Super Bowls where he played great. So has Patrick Mahomes, or so has Jalen Hurts. So has Jalen Hurts. Now this is a different commenter, and this is where it also continues to get so absurd. Not gonna lie, it's easy to do the things you're saying he did, because when he never attempted over 30 passes in the postseason and only bring up postseason stats is wild. So now we're not allowed to talk about the postseason at all, which is funny. And we're gonna go through the regular season as well. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. This guy is a Rams fan and has Stafford, none other than Matthew Stafford, as his profile picture. I just think it's funny that we live in a world where Jalen Hurts balls out in multiple Super Bowls and plays better than Matthew Stafford ever did. But because Matthew Stafford threw 40 times, threw 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, an 89.9 rating, and a 7.1 average, that somehow, and also he rushed for a whopping 6 yards, by the way. Pretty cool. That's somehow more impressive than Jalen Hurts doing something that no quarterback ever did in the history of the NFL. It's really easy for him to break the rushing record. Like, really, it's really easy for him to be the first quarterback ever to throw over 200 yards, rush for 70 yards, throw multiple touchdown passes, rush for a touchdown, 75% completion percentage, average 10 plus yards per pass attempt. Do you understand how absurd that is? And if you want to tell me, well, his team, he had Cooper Kupp, he had OBJ, he had Von Miller, Sean McVay, Aaron Donald. Like, what are we inventing here now? And he did it against the Cincinnati Bengals, the 10-7 Cincinnati Bengals. Jalen Hurts had to go up against the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, Jalen Hurts had for over 300 total yards and 3 touchdowns. Had a 119 rating. 70+% completion percentage. 10 yards per pass attempt. And he got no production out of Saquon Barkley. 25 carries for 57 yards. 2.3 yards per attempt. And like I've already highlighted in multiple videos, they did not sell out to stop the run. That's already been unpacked very deeply by people who can break down film way better than I ever could. This wasn't like, well, they went all in to stop the run. No, they did not. And they still couldn't stop none other than Jalen Hurts. Like, it's comically hilarious that because he only threw 22 times, that somehow is inferior to Matthew Stafford winning. Because he threw 40 times. Like, or somehow Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl is more impressive. The year that he threw for... that he threw the ball 42 times, but he threw for 286 yards and had a 78 rating. Like, I don't understand. I honestly really don't. How someone like Jalen Hurts can literally break records and it's still not good enough. And then it's funny because when I referenced N22, that doesn't move me because that was 2 whole seasons ago. So now we can't go further than 2 seasons ago. Like now it only has to be the immediate moment. I mean, if it's the immediate moment, he won a Super Bowl MVP. Like I don't know what to tell you. And also, since we know he's a Matthew Stafford fan, well, Stafford won like 5 years ago at this point. Whole 2 seasons ago where he lost and didn't have Barkley, which only tells me that he couldn't get the job done. I mean, again, he played a team that was significantly better than the Cincinnati Bengals in the game. They gave up 38 points. Like it's just so hilarious. I mean, it really is. So in order to get the job done, you need 2 wide receivers, 2 wide receiver ones. I guess that's a weird way. I guess I put it. Is the best running back in the league, a top 10 tight, the best offensive line, the best defensive in the league, the best defensive. This guy's kind of struggling here. Best defensive in the league, a slightly above average head coach to win all that. Of course, you're going to break all types of records with a team that clearly had little to no flaws, which other quarterbacks never had this caliber of a team and still won, which is why people look at him in that aspect, because is most like the past postseason. He kicked his feet up, let his defense and running back do majority of the work for you, compared to every other quarterback who attempts to throw the ball over 30 times in the Super Bowl and win. I mean, that's like some brain rot there, man. I mean, that's some serious brain rot. It's just funny to me that we have plenty of quarterbacks throwing over 30 attempts. I love how that's just like the number now of like what we think is great. And under, they throw over 30, they lose. They throw under 30, they've won. But like we only want to circle it for Jalen Hurts. And again, Jalen Hurts is a dual threat quarterback, which then adds another dimension to the game. Like we could look at the Rams where, yeah, he didn't throw as much, but then had a 44-yard touchdown run. But we want to say, well, that doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Or the fact that he's also elite at the line of scrimmage with his pre-snap reads, literally checking in and setting up Saquon Barkley to go on his 60-yard touchdown run, but we want to act like that has nothing to do with anything. But when other quarterbacks go to the line and they're changing up the play and moving players around, it's he's just a master and commander of the offense. But when Jalen Hurts does it, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. And again, we keep acting like this O-line was just the most historically amazing O-line in the history of the universe. Again, they were ranked 6th. This is the pass block win rate. This completely nullifies everything. This is just, is your O-line stopping and giving your quarterback time? And it's only for 2.5 seconds. So it's only showing you, it's not like, it's controlling for if a quarterback's holding on to the ball for too long or, whatever it may be. It's just strictly like, is your O-line able to give your quarterback time? They had the 6th best win rate for passing and the 9th. So we can stop pretending like that this was just a steel curtain here, because it's just nonsense. It's just not true. It's just not. Jalen Hurts was pressured at a higher per drop back rate than Patrick Mahomes. Weird how that works. And this is one of the funniest comments. Yeah, Stafford didn't have Jalen Hurts' team. And you and I both know Stafford is more talented than Hurts. And all my life, Jalen Hurts could never take that Lions team in the playoffs or even 5 wins, bro. Stop it. And I'm a Rams fan, so I don't really care what happened before he came to the Rams. Funny. In 2021, first-year starter, Jalen Hurts led the Philadelphia Eagles, who the year before had 4 wins. And he had a rookie head coach, rookie wide receiver, very average team, average defense. And he had 3,144 passing yards and was the leading rusher on his team, and he led them to the playoffs. I mean, he literally led the team to the playoffs, and that was on a non-stacked roster. And this doesn't even really go into details in terms of just how great he was also from a, rushing perspective as well. So again, weird how he carried a team, but we want to forget about that. Like that's weird. Also, again, with a first-year head coach, with a 4-win team, that season in 2021 against Patrick Mahomes, And the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, that really special dynastic team. Jalen Hurts played better than Patrick Mahomes. 32 for 48, 387 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, a 105 rating, 8 carries, 47 yards. And that was against the 8th ranked best defense, the Kansas City Chiefs. He did that as a first-year starter on a non-stacked team. His roster had Devontae Smith, rookie, Zach Ertz, who left halfway through the season, Kenneth Gainwell, okay, Jalen Reagor. I mean, it's so funny, man. It's so funny that people just want to have this revisionist history. And then he finally gets some help. He gets A.J. Brown, right? Essentially, that's what they added, A.J. Brown. And I was like, well, now it's not fair. Now it's not fair. And it's like, what? They want to pretend like he's just had this elite stacked team year after year after year after year. And it's just not true. And you know what's really funny about that game? Against that Kansas City Chiefs team that Jalen Hurts did? Threw for 387 yards, which would have been number 1 in the league. Second only Daniel Jones, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You know how many times he was pressured? 27 times. But the O-line. He was pressured 27 times. That's way more than Patrick Mahomes was pressured in that Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. Weird. So weird how that works. I mean, you want to talk about the team carrying Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes, in 2024, in his first 9 games, when he went 9-0, just interception after interception after interception. Okay, passer rating of 80.6, 87.2, 89, 86.2. I mean, he's winning games where he's got 0 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 44 and a 59.3% completion percentage, but still wins 27-16. Or no, excuse me, won 28-18, even better. I mean, do you guys understand what's happening here? But the pressure. It's all about the pressure. His O-line. Really? Jalen Hurts was pressured more. 105. Patrick Mahomes was pressured 94. Jalen Hurts also had less dropbacks. So again, Jalen Hurts was actually pressured more. You had Geno Smith pressured 153 times. CJ Stroud 136. Daniel Jones 130. Deshaun Watson 118. Caleb Williams 113. Bo Nix 110. Brock Purdy 109. So quit your crying about the O-line when you got all these quarterbacks: Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, all being pressured more than Patrick Mahomes. And yet they were going undefeated, man. And he was playing awful. And yet we just want to say, well, 4 years ago he threw for 5,000 yards. So it's okay. I mean, it just doesn't. Again, it's no matter how we slice it, no matter which quarterback we want to use, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, it's just absurd. Let's look at in a clean pocket. So this completely neutralizes everything. This neutralizes the O-line in 2024 and the adjusted completion percentage. So this is just the percentage of accurate throws. This nullifies drop passes. So this neutralizes now whether you're throwing to Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, or John Smith. Okay? This completely neutralizes all of that. It's a clean pocket. So it's just, you got time. Do you hit your wide receiver or not? And it doesn't matter because it controls for drop passes. Jalen Hurts was number 1 in the NFL in 2024. 85.5 adjusting completion percentage. Jared Goff, 83. Jaden Daniels, 83. Where is that? Patrick Mahomes, all the way down at 80. Lamar Jackson, 81. Josh Allen, 79. Stafford, 78.6. Where's Dak Prescott? I don't even know where that guy is. Nowhere to be found. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Seems like a pretty good touchdown to interception ratio to me. What was his passer rating in a clean pocket? Ooh, top 3 in the NFL. Top 3 in the NFL. Seems like he's a pretty good quarterback. And again, this is in a clean pocket. Comparing everyone with a clean pocket. Completely neutralizes the O-line. Completely. I mean, again, in 2024, top 8 in completion percentage. Top 4 in yards per pass attempt. Adjusted completion percentage, what we said before, where it controls for all the drops and whatnot and the receivers, 80.1%. Not to mention, he was missing Devontae and A.J. Brown 4 games. 4 games. Number 1. And top 5 passer rating in 2024. So yes, since 22, he's had top 10, top 5, top 1 passing stats. Not to mention just quarterback stat, not just passing in, because there's other dimensions of his game. I mean, think about how he was top in all those stats, in the passing stats, and then also top 3. I mean, think about that. I mean, it's like, what more do you want this guy to do? They're like, the tush push. He didn't do the tush push 630 times. He did not do the tush push 630 times. It's like you start to run out of ways to kind of unpack this argument. I mean, Joe Burrow has a passer rating of 93.8, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in 7 games. And in Jalen Hurts, and his completion percentage, 67.3. When we remove the Super Bowls, even though Joe Burrow got to include his Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts 7.2, 94 passer rating. Higher passer rating. Better touchdown to interception ratio. 65.7 completion percentage, and so Joe Burrow's got him beat. But when we add in the Super Bowls, it's all better than Joe Burrow's. Joe Burrow is able to throw to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and, all that fun stuff. And Joe Burrow's a beast. Like, these are not arguments for me to say that this is proof that Jalen Hurts is better than this quarterback or that quarterback. What it is evidence is the nonsense that people keep spewing out. I mean, Lamar Jackson in 2023 threw 169 yards, 186, 157, 187, 177, 171. I mean, he threw, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games he's thrown for under 200 yards, where he won the MVP. And passing attempts, he's got, let's see, all the games that he didn't reach 30 passing attempts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times. 9 times. And he won the MVP. And then he even won the playoff game throwing 152 yards and 22 attempts. He had 16 completions. I mean, again, it's like, I don't know what to tell y'all. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I can do this with so many different quarterbacks. We can do it in so many different years. I just love that we respect one quarterback more for doing less than another quarterback, or it's like we talk about the support that Jalen Hurts has, but we but we don't want to talk about the insane benefit that someone like Patrick Mahomes has had with his, great big numbers with Andy Reid and Yak or Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, or again, even when those players weren't there, or obviously Travis Kelce was there, but still having like 60% Yak, like just outrageous, and we just want to act like that's nothing. We want to act like we just want to pretend like that you don't benefit from that. It's just hilarious to me. And we want to downplay Jalen Hurts because he's won games throwing like 25 times or something, but then fail to understand that quarterbacks all over the NFL also have done that. Like it's just nonsense. I mean, it really is. It's just the definition of nonsense. Like Patrick Mahomes won his AFC Championship game. He only threw 26 times. Jalen Hurts threw 28 times. And they both won. But only Jalen Hurts gets beat up for it, not Patrick Mahomes. Make it make sense. And again, especially with Jalen Hurts now, you can't say it's like, well, Super Bowls. Because Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. He's been to multiple Super Bowls. So just none of it makes sense. And if you want to say it's all because of how Jalen Hurts plays in week 4 against the Carolina Panthers, it's like, best of luck to you, man. Best of luck to you. Just funny stuff. Just funny, nonsensical nonsense. Also, that Philadelphia Eagles stacked roster that won the Super Bowl, they had 6 Pro Bowlers. 6 Pro Bowlers. The Baltimore Ravens had 11. The Minnesota Vikings had 7. The 22 Chiefs, the team that Patrick Mahomes carried or whatever, they had 7 Pro Bowlers. They had more Pro Bowlers than what the Philadelphia Eagles had when they won on that stacked roster. That following year, 23, when they were just a real big mess, they had 5 Pro Bowlers. So just one shy of what the Eagles had with that stacked roster. So weird. 2023, Detroit Lions, 7 Pro Bowlers. Why did that stacked roster not win the Super Bowl? The 49ers in 2023 had 9 Pro Bowlers. 9. They played the Kansas City Chiefs. Why didn't Brock Purdy and the 49ers win the Super Bowl? So this whole idea that Jalen Hurts has just been carried by this unbelievably stacked team. Really? It's weird. Because they had 7 All-Pros, 9 Pro Bowlers, and the Philadelphia Eagles had 6 All-Pros and 6 Pro Bowlers. That's so weird. And in 2023, the Chiefs had 5 Pro Bowlers and 3 All-Pros. And then in 2024, 5 Pro Bowlers and 4 All-Pros. Technically, the Eagles played an even harder team. I'm just saying. Definitely an offense that scored more points. So, yeah. So, yep. No matter how you want to slice it, no matter what quarterback you want to use, no matter what made-up things you want to make up about this year versus that year, stacked roster versus non-stacked roster, it's just all a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I'm going through it. 2021, 22, 23, 24, rushing stats, passing stats, winning with a great roster, winning with an average roster, the most amazing O-line, the kind of a good O-line, lots of Pro Bowlers, not as many Pro Bowlers. Any quarterback can win with the Philadelphia Eagles, and yet you have other quarterbacks with better teams, apparently, who can't win. I mean, just get it. Just get it. I mean, you guys remind me of literally a South Park episode with fish sticks and Kanye West, where he just can't get it. You just can't get it. You just can't get it. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jalen Hurts being a truly top quarterback in the NFL? And what do you think about just the endless nonsense and coping of people trying to figure out how this man won a Super Bowl and why their quarterback did not? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.